Welcome aboard Just Jets with your captain, Matt O'Leary. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Hello and welcome to episode number 85 of Just Jets. What's going on? I am Matt O'Leary, going to be hanging out with you, getting into all things that are, well, garbage things about this New York Jets franchise because, well, they are extremely frustrating to watch. Another day, another week, another loss. It's unfortunate, but we're going to get into it. We'll talk about the frustration in the Denver game. We'll talk about this upcoming week in Tennessee and, of course, your voicemails. But before all of that, the world is starting to open and the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is here to help you get ready. Inside, you'll find the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. The Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner, that's a good one, plus 2 free gifts, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag. Brand new Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take your defense to the next level. This 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. We love the skin-safe technology. Skin-safe technology is why we love Manscaped. So, be like the 2 million other men worldwide and pick yourself up a trusted, sourced item from Manscaped. Whether it's the 4.0 Performance Package, I love the cologne. That's my go-to. So, here's what you do. 20% off, free shipping, promo code JETS20. That is JETS20. And free shipping from manscaped.com. Take your balls to the defense level, to the promised land from Manscaped. I love it. Absolutely love it. So let's hop into today's episode, in episode number 85. We're going to try to have fun because, well, it's not fun watching this Jets team. And I was not confident going into this game against Denver. On paper, I thought it was a really bad matchup for the Jets, and it turned out to be exactly the case. 26-0 loss. So, for those keeping track at home, that is 6 points in your last 8 quarters, have not scored an offensive touchdown or any kind of touchdown, really, to be quite honest with you, since the second half of week 1. 2 field goals in 2 games. I just don't know how the Jets offense could be this bad. I did a video earlier in the week where I was talking about just the state of the Jets offense over the last few years, their history, and comparing it to league average number 1, and then like the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, this stat just blew my mind. Since the last time the Jets scored 30 or more points in a game, which was November 24th, 2019, the Kansas City Chiefs have scored 30 points or more 17 times. Since the last time the Jets have done it. 17. That's just a staggering number. It's truly insane just how bad this offense truly is. But when looking at this game, and sure, the 2 interceptions from Zach Wilson don't look great. The second one literally went right off Braxton Berrios' hands into a defender. My biggest takeaways are 3 things, which we'll get into. Number 1 is the drops. It's truly remarkable how bad the Jets receiving core was in this game. Corey Davis was paid big money to come in here and perform. And week 1, he looked good. In the preseason and in training camp, he looked good. There's no denying that. The last 2 weeks, I'm sorry to say it, Corey Davis has been brutally bad. Really bad. The drop on 3rd down, where Zach was running for his life, running to the left, throwing on the run, and putting a strike right on his chest, he drops it. What are we doing? This is a guy who you pay, again, big money to be your quote-unquote wide receiver 1. He's not a true wide receiver 1, which is fine. I don't think you necessarily need to have someone who's going to put up 1,200 receiving yards in a year or anything like that. The Jets are supposed to have a deep receiving core, and I still believe they do have a deep receiving core, but they're not using 2 of those guys for just no good reason in Jamison Crowder or Denzel Mims. But with Corey Davis, man, just a really bad effort the last 2 weeks. It's frustrating to see your young quarterback in his 3rd game in his NFL career running for his life and his receivers giving him no help. Like, the offensive line is dreadful. We'll get to that in a second. But the receivers being as bad as what they were is just embarrassing. Michael Carter drop, Ty Johnson drops, like all over the field. Braxton Berrios, the big one right off his hands, went up for an interception. But I think I'm most disappointed in Corey Davis because he's supposed to be the steady guy. He's supposed to be all reliable. Where things go wrong on third down, you find, as a young quarterback, you find Corey Davis. Except he had 3 drops in week 2. In week 3, rather. In week 2, ball went right through his hands for an interception on one of them. I mean, Wilson played terrible, but it's just frustrating. The drops is just frustrating. That's something that has to change. LaFleur was brutal again. That's 3 games in a row where Mike LaFleur has been really bad. We're going to get into more of LaFleur later, but why I thought he was bad, I'll give you this one sequence that just really baffled me. On 3rd down and 4, the Jets decided to run the ball, which I don't like that call. I think it's playing conservative, which I think LaFleur plays way too conservatively. 3rd down and 4, they run. On 4th and 1, that's time to run the ball. You are more likely to pick up a first down on 4th and 1 by running the ball than passing. So what do the Jets do? They go 4 wide on 4th and 1. And they set up a slant to Michael Carter, and the ball goes off his hands. What? That's the 4th and 1 play call? That's the innovative offense on 3rd and 4? At least Tevin Coleman wasn't in to eat carries, because if we had a 26-0 kind of a game and you had to watch Tevin Coleman in the A-gap for 2 yards a carry, that would have been worse. But just a frustrating day for LaFleur. He's been really bad through 3 games. Again, emphasis on the 3 games, more on that coming up. The offensive line. Oh, God, the offensive line. Greg Van Roten and Connor McGovern are going to get somebody killed. That's how bad they're playing right now. It's that level of bad, and the fact that they're passing the blame on anybody but themselves is just so frustrating. That was a huge story from this week. So we'll start Greg Van Roten. The first words out of his mouth. Now, for the full quote, he would go on to say after what he says, what he's about to say. I'm going to say that in a second. He would then say, we also need to block better. But the first thing out of his mouth, when asked about why Zach is getting killed, is that Zach has to get rid of the ball faster. Well, while at times Zach has held onto the ball for a little bit too long, part of it is because his receivers aren't getting open. Part of it is him playing his 3rd game in the freaking NFL, and it's going to take a little bit. But he also has 1.7 seconds to throw. That's the time that he's working with. He's essentially has no time at all to make a read and make a decision. And then Connor McGovern. Oh, somebody sent Connor McGovern a screenshot of a play. Now, I don't advocate for this. I think it's weird when fans DM a player and try to talk smack or just like put a player down. Like that's just weird and creepy. Don't do that. But McGovern's answer was that fans don't know the game. Is the alleged answer. If this was his actual DM exchange, he said fans don't know the game. You're a troll. He said that he was supposed to pull right. So by saying that, he then threw the other rookie playing his 3rd game, and Elijah Vera Tucker, straight under that bus. Say it was Elijah's fault why the play got blew up. I don't get it. McGovern's was a big ticket free agent signing. He's supposed to be better than this. They had to have a better plan at right guard than Greg Van Roten or Alex Lewis. We were saying that all offseason long. What was the one thing I repeatedly said over and over and over and over again was I feel good about the offensive line with Moses on the right, Becton on the left. Becton's hurt right now. I feel good about Elijah Vera Tucker. The one spot I'm really concerned about is Greg Van Roten. And McGovern, you know what? Connor McGovern's giving him a run for his money because McGovern might be worse, which is really saying something. But the play on the interior offensive line, you can't win in the NFL this way. Can't happen. That's how you average 6 points a game, by having an offensive line that looks like this through 3 games. Now, can they turn it around? Maybe. Maybe they do. I don't think this is going to be a 2-15 season. I really don't. But good luck against the Tennessee Titans because, man, it looks like they're finally clicking. They had a real clunker of a game in week 1 against Arizona, who looks legit. They're 3-0 right now. Titans get embarrassed at home in week 1. Then they upset Seattle on the road in Seattle. And then the defense finally comes to life against the Indianapolis Colts and a banged-up Carson Wentz. So what does this game tell me, or what do I think about this game? Couple things. First and foremost, good luck stopping Derrick Henry. I know that the Jets' defense overall has been pretty good, but against the run, they've left a little bit to be desired at times. Henry ran for 185 yards against Seattle. I think it was 113 against the Colts. Good luck. If they get to, 24 points, do you have any faith in the Jets' offense? Right now, no. Until they prove otherwise, why should you? Because for, they played 12 quarters so far this year. For 10 of the 12 quarters, they have 6 points. Right? Because you got shut out in week 1 in the first half. 14 in the second half. That was good. More of that, please. Then you had 6 against the Patriots. And then you had 0 against the Denver Broncos. So now the expectation is that you're going to be able to go on the road, go even at home. Doesn't matter to me, home game, road game, whatever. Play against a team who is coming off 2 big wins. Like, to me, Tennessee is the best team in that division. By far. It's not even close in the AFC South. They made the playoffs. They're coached well. Good quarterback. Good run game. Defense finally, coming together a little bit here. You're going to compete in that game? I don't see any reason to believe that the Jets are going to be competitive in this game. I don't. Before the season started, even when I was to some too negative saying that I thought the Jets were going to go 7-10, and then too positive for others saying that they would go 7-10. I think my favorite thing through all this frustration that fans have had was on one of my videos, someone commented that I must be paid by the Jets for all the positive things that I've said about them this offseason. Are they watching the videos? I feel like, and listen, you as a viewer or you listening to this, we're not going to agree on everything. That's just not going to happen. You're not going to be 100% aligned with me. I'm not going to be 100% aligned with you. That's how it is in sports, and that's okay. There's room for healthy debate and healthy discussion. I would like to believe, and I'm not 100% right. I'm sure as hell not 100% wrong. There's room where there's wiggle room, I guess, is the point that I'm trying to make here. But I would like to believe that I'm rational. How about that? I think I'm self-aware enough to realize that I try, or at least try to be as rational as I can be. So to be called a Jets pom-pom shaker and just pushing the narrative was really bizarre. I was not expecting that in the slightest. But this Tennessee Titans game, even before the point I was trying to make before I got sidetracked there, was that even before all hell broke loose in this year and the offense was worse than football, I had this game on the calendar. I said this does not look like a game the Jets could win. The game you're looking for to get your first win, Atlanta. The Falcons stink. Somehow beat the Giants. Giants somehow lost at home to the Atlanta Falcons. But that's the game I'm looking for. I think that's when the New York Jets could win their first game. This week against the Titans, gonna take a miracle. It's gonna have to take a miracle if they're gonna win this game. So with that, let's get into the voicemails. We'll start it off with the OG, Travis in Ohio.
Hey, Matt!
Yo!
Travis from Ohio.
What's
hey,
up,
buddy.
man?
I must have cut off last week, but this kind of dovetails into it.
Okay.
The topic. Samini brought up that we only had one active guy from our 2020 draft, and that was Bryce Hall. And he is the only guy active this week, too. So for the past 2 weeks, what we used to think was an awesome 2020 draft class, they have no availability. Makai Becton, still hurt. Mims, healthy scratch. Ashton Davis, who knows when they're getting him.
Hopefully soon.
Zuniga, he's been a missing person since we drafted him.
This is facts.
P-Ron, another healthy scratch. James Morgan, he's with the Jets South in Carolina. Cameron Clark, never healthy. Bryce Hall, like I said, the only guy that actually shows up and can play. And then Braden Mann, who unfortunately got hurt week 1. So, anyway, I'm so disappointed in this draft class. I thought we had something. I mean, at least we got Bryce Huff, undrafted, who
That's true.
has been balling out, and I love him. But as far as the draft itself, Hall's the only guy showing up, and it hurts. I love all the draft picks. I still do. I just want them to freaking play. I mean, sorry, I misled. Anyway,
Good job. Thank you.
Shout out to you, sweet Mrs. Wilson, Mickey Mouse, and Yoda. Love you.
Travis.
Goodness. Ah.
Travis, love hearing from you as always, my man. Appreciate it. I'll say this. I have soured a little bit on the 2020 draft class, but not nearly as much as a lot of people have, I guess. I'm still a Makai guy. I think he's very, very good. He got rolled up on. I don't understand the people who were putting the blame on Makai Becton for that. And I don't think Travis was either. I just want to make that clear. The Mims thing doesn't make sense. Hopefully we see him in the second half of this season. Or as soon as this week would be phenomenal, actually. If we could see him on the field, that'd be great. Sign me up for that any second. Ashton Davis, love to see him play. Just haven't seen enough of him. Zuniga, whiff. Morgan, whiff. Pirine, whiff. Cam Clark, probably whiff. He's hurt, but sorry. Probably whiff. Braden Mann, I mean, he's punter. But Hall, that's a diamond in the rough. I love that pick from the get-go. Big fan of the Hall selection. He's been really, really good. And I'll say this. I think the 2020 class maybe lost a little bit of its shine, but I don't think it's nearly as bad as what some people online are making it out to be. I think there's a little overreaction there. So, thank you, Travis. Hopefully that answers your question. Dom from Long Island. He's got reaction.
Hey, how's it going? Dom from Long Island. Listen, I'm calling right after the Jet game against the Broncos, and Jesus, this is not good. Listen, I'm more of an optimistic fan, but in the sense that I'm looking at the coaching right now that's being administered to these players. And listen, I'm no NFL scout. I don't want to talk about coaching like I know what I'm talking about, but
That's okay.
when you're about to kick a field goal and no one has the wherewithal to call a timeout before the play clock expires, I mean, come on. Salah, Boyer, Morstead, no one thought to look at the play clock. This is what frustrates me about this team. It's these little things that they just never get right. And it's what screws them in the end every single time. Today, I can point to two things. Ineptity in coaching, i.e. that example. And I mean, you can't catch a ball. Simple things. These receivers could not catch today. They did Zach Wilson no favors. I want to hear nothing about Zach Wilson's performance when these receivers had balls going through their hands all freaking day.
They did.
I'm sorry, but this needs to get fixed. It needs to get fixed now. The only thing I see happening is everyone needs to stop playing so nicey nice in the locker room, and either Wilson or Salah, someone needs to get into the locker room and light a fire under these guys and say, listen, this is unacceptable, and we need to get our shit together before we really start to embarrass ourselves. Thank you. Go Jets.
Love it, Dom. You're right. You got to get your stuff together. I'm going to say stuff. I like to try, keyword try to keep it clean on here. But it's, I don't know. That sequence was one of the most frustrating things I've seen as a Jet fan. I've seen a lot of frustrating stuff, man. So one, the play call right before that was bizarre. Because of course it was. But going to settle on a 56-yard field goal attempt. You hit the field goal. But no, delay a game. And like you said, veteran placeholder / punter doesn't realize. None of the coaches realize. Like, that's not on the kicker. That's not on the rookie Amendola. He did his job. It's on the holder. It's on the coach. Really, it's on the coach. That should be his one job at that point. I don't know. That was really bad. I'm glad you brought that up, Dom, because watching that live, I turned to my sister and we kind of just looked at each other and we were just like dumbfounded. Like, did that just happen? And of course, they punt after that. You're not going to attempt a 61-yard field goal. And it was too long to go for it. It was just, that was the epitome of the Jets in Denver, was that moment. Oh boy. Josh in Windsor, he's got reaction too.
Hey, Matt, it's John from Windsor.
John,
I'm just calling to say, remember when I told you they were going to start really bad? You called me a clown, said I didn't know the team. Look who's right now. I know you're not going to put this on the show. I'm just calling to tell you, I still know this team better than you do. Maybe I should be on the podcast, buddy. Have a good one.
Good luck with your podcast. Let me know when you hit 10,000 subscribers. I'd love to check it out. Joe on Long Island is up next. Let's get to some optimism.
Hey, Matt, it's Joe from Long Island here. My question for you is, are you still optimistic about this team after whatever that was that we just watched against the Denver Broncos? I don't know about you, man, but going into the season, I was so excited about the young talent and the direction the team was going, and it looks like we literally have nothing. Nothing at all. Thanks, buddy. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Later.
Yeah, it's frustrating, Joe. It really is frustrating. Try to find some positives for you. Michael Carter II looks like a player at corner. That's been a really nice surprise. Bryce Hall's looked good. John Franklin Myers has looked good. Sheldon Rankins and Quinnen came back to life. He was really good this week. Overall defense, I'm happy with how the defense is played. They're top 10. They're 10th overall right now, which is really good, all things considering. I don't have a positive on offense right now. I just don't. I'm sorry. If you score 20 points in 3 games, I don't have anything positive to say about the offense right now. Hopefully they turn it around. But I don't know. It's hard to be optimistic right now. Neek from Texas. What do you got, buddy?
Hey, Matt. This is Neek from Texas. I'm calling after, of course, the Jets game. That was brutal. We got obliterated. So I have a question, I guess, about Elijah Moore. I think he's extremely overrated. I get he has that elusive speed, the Tyreek Hill type. That's the new number 1 wide receiver that we're looking in the NFL today. But I think there are just so many better receivers in that class. You got Jalen Waddle on the Dolphins. You got Rondale Moore. You got Kadarius Toney, Cornell Powell, Anthony Schwartz. I got all these guys and more ahead of this guy. And I just think the Jets made a mistake in selecting Elijah Moore that high. I think he probably falls. You've got several of the players I just mentioned ahead of him. So, yeah, what do you think I think the offensive line played terrible, but what do you think of Elijah Moore? Yeah. Bye. Overrated.
I think it's a little premature to call Elijah Moore overrated, unless that was your feeling before the draft. If so, okay. I'm not quite there. I thought he was someone who was a late first, early second round player, which is where he went, the second overall in the second round. I think the Jets need a dynamic playmaker. And there were flashes of that in week 2. And I think as the season goes on, we'll kind of see what he is at this level. But I am not in the slightest bit ready to call Elijah Moore either a bust or overrated or anything like that. I think it's way too soon to say. And again, unless, Nick, that was your thought all along, I personally didn't feel that way. I had a late first or early second round grade on him. So I was okay with it. Next up, we have Devin in Nevada. Panic button time? Let's hear.
Hey, Matt. What's going on? It's Devin from Nevada giving you another call, brother. So I think it's time to hit the panic button. And, I'm usually optimistic, usually try to keep a level head. But so without a doubt, we're the worst team in football. I think the Jaguars at least have some sort of offensive flow. And a lot of times the Jaguars, like what happens to them is that, tipped passes or missed routes or something like that. But the Jets just look like nobody is on the same page at all. And I don't know if it's too early to call or whatever, but I think Mike LaFleur has to go. I know this is really only his 3rd game as a play caller, but to be quite frank, I've seen enough. There's a YouTube video out that shows a breakdown of his play calling, and something that he tries to do is, a lot of 12 personnel, or he tries to add extra blocking because, the Jets just can't block for anything. Our interior offensive line is garbage. But, just the schemes that he's trying to create doesn't work for our offense. And not only that, but I feel like Zach Wilson is kind of regressing, and he's learning bad lessons. And, one thing that I also noticed, like week 1 and week 2, and now I confirmed it in week 3, I didn't want to call it too early, but when Zach Wilson gets to the line, it's a quiet game. And I'm not just talking about the offense, production-wise, but when Zach Wilson gets to the line, like there's not many reads, there's not many call-outs, there's not many point-outs, anything like that. There's not much communication on offense. And, yes, that does lie on Zach Wilson being a rookie, but that also comes back to the offensive coaching, not teaching him what he should be looking at. And, Denzel Mims, another healthy scratch, and that's just, because, for example, that's like a teacher saying, like, oh, this student can't learn. It's like, you're just not a good enough teacher, to be quite frank. So I think Mike LaFleur has to go. It's early to call, but, there's just no sort of life in our team. Anyways, I guess my question, man, is hopefully we can get the number 1 pick, I guess, this year. Who are some players that we're going to be looking out for? What are some positions that this team desperately needs and needs most desperately? Because, unfortunately, man, it's looking like the beginning of the end. I always try to keep an optimistic level head, but, hey, man, go Jets, and I'm going to be here till the end, but it's looking ugly out there. All my fans, stay positive, keep your head up. It's going to be a rough one. Take care, guys. Thank you. Love the show.
Thank you, Devin. I am stunned that we got our first fire LaFleur call in week 3. I know he's been really bad. He has been. I'm not here to defend LaFleur for any of the decisions he's made through the first 3 games. But I can't possibly justify pulling the plug on a rookie play caller after just 3 games. I can't do it. Wow. I can't. We got to give him more time. At least the year. There's almost no way. I almost don't think there's a world where he's not back next year, no matter what. Even if they finish with the worst offense in football, I don't think they pull the plug that quickly. As far as what they would be looking for, to me, interior offensive line. Keep getting the offensive line, edge, tight end. Which is another thing. You mentioned the 12 personnel. I agree. I don't think they should run as much 12 personnel. because their tight ends stink. But if you want to be a team that uses tight ends, well then, I don't know, use some of your premium assets on them. Because that sure as hell doesn't make any sense to go into the year. You trade Chris Herndon, fine. You get an asset back if you're a guy you're not going to use. Okay, that's fine. But you're going to run 12 personnel with Tyler Kroft and Ryan Griffin? And Denzel Mims can't get on the field. But you're going to run Ryan Griffin and Tyler Kroft on the field at the same time. Because that sure as hell makes sense, I guess, in someone's world, not mine. But I agree. LaFleur's been really bad. I can't call it after 3 games. I just won't do it. Sorry. Dan, he's in from New York. Wants to talk about backup quarterback.
Hey, what's going on, Matt?
Yo.
Dan from New York calling in. Hope all's well, man. Oh, my God. Another year of misery ahead of us, obviously. I'm just, honestly, after that game, I just can't help but think, why the hell did we not, get a freaking veteran in this room just to, ease the tension, give Zach somebody to riff off of, and, God forbid if things go the way they're going now, potentially, save the kid's life, kind of like the McCown effect with Darnold, there's a bit less anxiety in that situation with the guy, ready to step in if things get out of control, which clearly we're off the rails already. So, what do you think? I mean, who can we go for? Is it a trade for Foles? I don't even know at this point. Just curious what your thoughts are. Go Jets.
I don't know if I'd want. Well, I guess it depends. When Dalton's back healthy, they take a 7th round pick, or I don't know if the Jets even have a 7th rounder, a 6th round pick for Nick Foles. Maybe maybe you can sell me on that now at this point. I was on the Nick Mullins train, but I think that ship's kind of sailed. It's really a fair point that Dan brings up. There's a lot of inexperience. And I think with just not having someone there right now is a little bit of an issue. I think you would have a portion of the fan base that, like, let's say Joe Flacco. Let's use Flacco as an example. If Flacco was here again, you might have some people calling for Flacco to start, which I think that would just be wasting time. But having someone there to help assist him through it, okay. That's different. You could probably sell me on that. It's a fair point, Dan. I don't know. They got to change something. That's for damn sure. Dante, he wants to get into the offense too. He's from Georgia.
Hey, Matt. It's Dante from Georgia. Just finished watching your How Bad is the Jets offense video.
Oh, it's bad.
And, oh, my God. We are worse than I could imagine. It's so sad. And even like a team like Jacksonville that's equally as bad, like Trevor Lawrence isn't playing lights out, like a number 1 pick, like everyone said he would right off the bat. But they score points when they play. I mean, obviously not enough to win a game, but like if we face them this year and we play how we've been playing and they play how they've been playing, we lose that game 10 out of 10 times. I just don't understand how we've had such a glaring issue at offense and scoring points for years, and it has yet to be addressed. And I wonder if we move on from LaFleur, like at the end of the season, or we give him another chance. But it seems like Adam Gase is in the booth calling the plays. It's awful play calling. We're not helping Zach out at all. And honestly, it's sad because if the throws are too simple, the fans are going to complain that, like, Adam Gase calling the plays, there's bubble screens and short passes, we're not extending the field. But then if we try to extend the field and throw it long, then we're making too difficult passes for Zach, and we don't want him to succeed. It's just the fan base is always going to find something to complain about.
That's a great
But
point.
we got to score more than 6.6, 7 points a game. No NFL team is going to win games like that, and it's very obvious that we're not. Anyway, love the show. Love
Thank
your
you.
YouTube video. Love your TikToks. But that's what I just want to call react to your video and the game itself. Bye.
Yeah, really, really fair point. I loved what you said about the Jets fans because that's so true. Like, if they do if they try to make it easy and do bubble screens, then it's Gase. You're right. And then if it's taking trying to force the issue down the field, then it's, well, you're not sending them enough easy throws. It's complicated. It really is complicated. I'm going to pull up the Jets' schedule right now and see games with how they're playing where maybe they could win. Tennessee, no. Falcons, I think they could beat the Falcons. Patriots on the road, no. Bengals, 2-1 right now. I thought that's a game where you can maybe win, but don't know there. Maybe the Colts. Colts are playing bad. Dolphins, I don't know. Texans, maybe the Texans. Eagles stink. Jaguars, maybe you get the Bills in the last week of the year resting players. It's not easy. It really isn't. It's going to be a tough road, but try to power through, I guess. It's truly remarkable just how bad the offense is, though, right? Like, it's 2021. You're scoring 20 points in 3 games. It's just how. Let's go to Brandon up next. He's got some reaction as well.
Yo, what's up, Matt? This is Brandon from Georgia.
What's up, dude?
I'm calling on Monday after the game. I think it's crazy that I set my expectations so low. I still get disappointed by this team. It is crazy. The receivers can't catch the ball. O-line can't block. I'm just clueless, honestly. And then to top it off, the announcers were saying how Robert Saleh might not be fit for head coach.
Yeah, that's
This
ridiculous.
has nothing to do with Robert Saleh. I don't care what anyone says. This is not Saleh's fault. He's trying to change the culture, and honestly, we kind of see it. But yeah, it's going to be a long season. We could already tell that. Hopefully this week against Tennessee, Zach shows some promise. Hopefully we win week 5 because I could just say we beat Atlanta.
There you go. That'll help.
I live
right?
in Georgia, so I could just tell everybody we beat Atlanta, so that would be pretty sick. Yeah, that's really all I hope for. Hopefully our only win is in Atlanta. Thank you.
That's so funny. I love it. But I'd be doing the same thing. But I mean, we just last call, right? We went through. Atlanta's the next one where I think you have a shot at winning, but it's not. You can't put this on Robert Saleh. Through 3 games, has he made mistakes? Yeah, he's not perfect. He hasn't been perfect, but it's a culmination of so many things. It's not fair to put it on Zach. It's not fair to put it on Saleh. Douglas's seat is heating up. Not to the point where I don't think he's not going to get fired or anything after the year, but he's got to get more of the blame than what he was. Still a lot of it is the McCagnon decision, but it's starting to get his guys in here. Offensive line has to be better. If they turn it around, there's 14 weeks to turn it around. That's the thing. So if you're looking in a vacuum at these first 3 games, yeah, it's as bad as last year, if not worse in some cases. But gotta think. In my heart, maybe I'm the naive one for this. I don't think it'll be this week, but I do think they turn it around and are at least somewhat competitive. I still think they can win 5 or 6 games. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy and they go 1-16. Phenomenal. Oh boy. Elliot in New Jersey is up next.
Hey, this is Elliot from Jersey. I just had a question. So, as of right now, Wesco is our fullback, and I was wondering if you think the Jets should trade for a fullback, maybe Alec Ingold from the Raiders. I know obviously Joe Douglas wouldn't want to give up that draft capital, but I feel like a fullback is important in the system. Just let me know what you think. As always, go Jets.
If Joe Douglas trades for a fullback, he should be fired on the spot. Like, that's it. That's enough. That would be enough for me to say, okay, that's it. If he gave up a draft asset for a fullback, I mean, come on. But that's not to say, like, you can't go out and replace Wesco and sign one in free agency. Go that route. That's fine. That's different. Wasn't there a fullback from Baltimore, I think, who just got waived? The undrafted free agent? Is he still available? I would say if you want to sign him instead and play him in front of Wesco, I'm good with that. But I am not trading even a 6th-round pick for a fullback. I don't think that would be wise. Shane is next up in New Jersey. He's got optimism on the mind, too. Let's get to Shane.
Matt, what is going on? Shane from Jersey.
What up, dude?
Calling again. I kind of just wanted to give you some optimistic takes on the season so far. Try to maybe be a little different from some of the other callers you had, probably pissed off, as I am too. But growing up, Mets and the Jets fan, you kind of have to find the little things to be happy about. So I'll give you those, and, could just let me know what you think, and if you think it's a good idea to be optimistic or, bad idea, I'm going to be let down. But I'll start with Zach. You couldn't even really look at him yesterday because of how bad the line played. But I think I looked at more BYU film on anybody when we found out we weren't going to get T-Law on him. T-Law, so we were going to get, obviously, Zach or Fields. And what I saw from all of BYU was that he only got better as the more he played. So I really think this is the worst of him we're going to see. Obviously, like I said, optimistic, but I really think it's only going to get better. And he still makes some of those wow throws. He did it twice in the Pats game. That was just kind of hard to see because with the 4 picks, but he'll get there. I saw that stat about the corners. I think we're letting up the least amount of passing touchdowns. No clue how, but I dig that. And I guess lastly, AVT looked good again. Can't really tell because McGovern got blown up every play. But yeah, man, we'll stick with those 3 for now. Try to keep it a quick call. Okay. But let me know what you think about those 3. And, yeah, go Jets. We're all right. Salah's rocking. LaFleur's in the doghouse, though, so we'll see what they do next week. Catch you later, man. Love the show. Bye-bye.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I think you have some fair points. It's hard to see that right now, though, because of how poorly they're playing. I'm not anywhere remotely close to trying to throw in the towel on Zach. The I told you so on the Zach doubters are so bizarre. I don't quite get it. So I'm excited to see 14 more games of Zach Wilson. I know that the offensive line hasn't been good, but Elijah Vera Tucker still excited about. And really the big one that you mentioned is the defense. The corners have been good. They've been a lot better than what I thought they would be. And this defense can hang. Right now they're 10th. This unit has no business being 10th with the roster that they have, but they're playing above their heads. They're punching above their weight. And you got to give Ulbrich and Salah credit for that. Right now, the offense is trailing significantly behind. That's got to catch up. So I like that you're trying to keep the optimistic angle. I am doing my best, but I find it very, very, very hard. Roger in Comac is next. He's got some reaction, too.
Hey, Matt. Roger from Comac calling. I thought I'd call in, give my 2 cents on the season so far. Look, I'm not gonna lie, it's been ugly, right? So everything, all the criticism that the Jets have received, it's deserved. I mean, they're just not together. Now, that being said, it's too early to panic. It's too early to criticize this team. I mean, think about it. You have a rookie QB, you got a rookie offensive coordinator, you have a rookie head coach. How are you supposed to succeed early when you have those 3 things working against you? I mean, look at the Flores Dolphins. Year 1, they sucked the first half of the year, and then suddenly something just clicked. And that's what I'm expecting for this team. I mean, it's going to take them time to get going. Good thing is this: the team's staying together, right? I see C.J. Mosley, I see Quinn Williams calling people out. Anybody who criticizes me, they're just calling them out. So, you can't be you can't be on this team for because of the first 3 games of the season. You want to see that. You want to see that camaraderie. Now, although it doesn't seem like it, but you got different reasons they lost games each week, right? Week 1, there's no protection, right? Week 2, the INTs were, they were going running rampant. Week 3, receivers couldn't catch any passes. These are different reasons that that are happening for their losses every week, right? So you better see that than to see the same thing happening week after week. So mark my words. I mean, this team's going to get better. The O-line's going to protect Wilson better. Wilson's going to get rid of the ball faster. Play calling's going to improve. Receivers going to get open, and they're going to catch passes.
I hope so.
There will be a surprise win later in the season. It's going to happen. This unit is coming together slowly. Just give them time to gel. I mean, that's my message to Jets Nation. Just give this team time to gel. It's going to happen. All right. Great show, by the way, and go Jets.
I like the comparison that you just pulled with the Dolphins one. That's good. I like that. If the Jets can turn it on in the second half, and look competitive, I'd be very, very happy with that. And you're right. Like, I think some of the I think some of the reaction is a little overreaction, and people are going a little bit too far. But just it's a tough one to swallow. We've been through a lot as Jeff fans, so I think that's why we're so jaded. But I think Roger brings up a good point here with, the second half of the season, how it could look like the 2019 version of the Miami Dolphins, and then last year in 2020 they were competitive. And right now Tua's hurt, and maybe they're not 1-2 if Tua didn't get hurt, but they are. And for the New York Jets, they're just looking to get one win. I don't think it's going to be this week. I think the surprise game would be coming later in the year, as Roger alluded to. But I just hope they are able to look somewhat competitive on offense, because I can't continue to sit through and watch games where they score 6 points. Like, if you're going to be bad, at least be a fun bad. Right? I think when people were picking them to win 5, 6, 7, 8 games, like, sure, that's not really a good team, but at least show some fight, be a little competitive, score some points. Love the call, Roger. Last one, Nick from Suffolk wants to get into Robert Saleh.
Hey, man, it's Nick from Suffolk County, New York. How you doing, man? It's kind of been on my mind real quick. I just wanted to let you know, or get your thoughts about maybe, is the way Saleh's handling all this losing and terrible football. I feel like in these press conferences, like, he's not really, like, it doesn't seem like he's getting mad. Like he's mad at losing, or like he's mad at the way the team's performing. Because if I was Saleh, if I was head coach of the Jets right now, I'd be pissed off. I'd be holding guys accountable. I'd be saying, who did this, who did that, and like, it seems like instead of holding guys accountable, he's just making excuses. And like Bill Parcells' press conferences and Rex Ryan's press conferences and Herm Edwards' press conferences, like they really held guys accountable, and they made sure that players knew, hey, you're not doing your job, and you're not performing well, and we're not going to win the way you're playing. And I feel like Saleh, like, he's just saying in these press conferences, like, oh, we had a great week of practice, these guys are professionals, blah, blah, blah. And another thing he's saying is the fact that the Jets are playing great teams, and for some reason that's an excuse to lose. Like, it seems like it's okay to lose. Like, and that just brings me back, major flashback to the Gaze press conferences. So, I don't know, man. I just want to get your thoughts on that. It's been on my head lately. All right, man. How you going?
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for the call. I see where you're coming from, and I understand we have the Gase PTSD with some of these answers. And you know what? Some of his answers I haven't agreed with, but not everyone is going to have that Rex personality. They're just not. And while someone like Parcells maybe called it like it was a little bit more, well, he had the luxury of that because he had 2 Super Bowl rings under his belt at that point, right? Robert Saleh hasn't won anything in this league as a head coach yet. So it's tough for someone who's been on the job for 3 weeks to come in and be like, lay down the hammer. And the game's different now than what it was 20 years ago even. So I don't want Saleh to be someone he's not. And we don't know what's happening behind closed doors. So I don't really have a big issue with Saleh yet. I don't think that's something that's on my radar as the biggest issue. It's not. Getting this offense fixed is. Fingers crossed it's this week, but I'm not so positive. So that'll do it for this episode of Just Jets, episode number 85. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure to subscribe, review, call in, all that fun stuff. I appreciate it. Call in after the game. I record on Tuesdays, because if you call in before the game, then your call's already dated, so I'm not going to use it. And if I didn't get to your call, I'm sorry. The inbox has been crazy full. I'm trying to get to as many as we possibly can in our time restriction here. So appreciate everyone who called in. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll talk to you next time.